Going to discuss the continuation topics in different theories about the nature of the light. As we already discussed the different theories in nature of light, those are Newton theory of light and Huygens wave theory about the light. Today we are discussing about de Broglie dual nature of light. To understand this topic, we need to get about the two important topics: what is meant by particle and what is meant by wave. So, the de Broglie is the greatest scientist. He given the statement the light will having the dual nature. It is both as well as the particle nature and wave nature. So, to confine this one, we will start with what is meant by particle. Say the particle is nothing but, say we will see some one graph you can easily understand. Say here one object is thrown with a certain angle. It is the projectile motion, the object is falling down. See, that means, so what is telling this video is means the particle is nothing but it has some mass, it must have some mass, and it is located at some definite point. So to specify the particle, we can directly use the coordinate systems. So, and it can move from one point to other point. So it can move from one point to other point. So the particle can give the energy when slow down. So that means if the particle is suddenly stopped, it will give the energy, or it is stopped suddenly. If you see this graph, if you see this video, so here is the particle is moving. So we can specify the particle where it is. So now here is the particle. We can easily tell that this is the particle. With help of the y-axis and x-axis, we can specify this particular location, and it is having some energy. So it is having some energy means when the particle is touching this floor, that means it is assume this is the floor. When it is projectile, so it is thrown up with a certain angle, it is going certain height, after that it is reaching to the earth. So if it is reaching to the earth, due to the energy of the particle, it is broken. So if you see this one, it is small particle, pieces of the particle it is making, that is due to the energy. It is due to this energy is the particle is broken, that means it will having the certain energy. So it is only one example of the diagram. The diagram will telling that means the particle will having these physical quantities. So if you see this physical quantity, what are the particle will having the physical quantity? It must have the mass, it must have the velocity, it must having the momentum, and it must having the energy. So with help of these physical quantities, the particle can be that particle can be easily defined. So the particle is very easiest physical quantity. We can the particle easily understand with physics with help of this physical quantity. It is very easy. Now if we go to the wave, so what is mean by wave? It is wave is the complicated one. So the easiest definition we can take that one. Wave is nothing but it is the disturbance which is created in the medium. So when we talk to each other, so that vocal point will vibrate, that vibrations will travel through the medium. So the medium will get the disturbance. This disturbance will travel from one point to other point. From the point of location of the sound, it will reach us to the eardrum. So the eardrum will vibrate, so the sound energy will reach us to the brain. That means the disturbance in the medium will tells us the wave. Wave may be several types, so it may be longitudinal wave, it may be transfer waves, like that. But the specification, the definition of the wave is nothing but it is particularly the disturbance in the medium from its natural. So naturally the medium will be at certain type. If the wave is created, it will create the disturbance. If you see the water waves, water at natural position, the water level will having the smooth, at the it having the rest position. When the disturbance will created, water waves will be created. See, if you see this one, the wave also having the some certain physical quantities. It having the frequency, velocity, wavelength, amplitude and intensity. So one by one we will observe what is meant by frequency in the wave. We can easily understand in the basic level. Frequency is nothing but number of oscillations completed by the wave in unit time is nothing but frequency. If we go to the wavelength, wavelength of the wave is nothing but it is the length between the two conjugate points between the wave. Two conjugate means two successive conjugate points. That means two identical points. Two successive identical points in the wave is the length between the two successive identical points is nothing but wavelength. What is meant by velocity of the wave? We can easily define that velocity of the wave is nothing but it is displacement covered by the wave in unit time is nothing but velocity of the wave. So amplitude of the wave means it is the maximum displacement covered by the particle in positive direction or in negative direction is named as the amplitude. The intensity of the wave is nothing but it is energy passed through the unit area in unit time by the wave is nothing but intensity of the wave. If you see this small video diagram, we are taking the one longitudinal wave, transfer waves. It is passing from one point to other point. So here is the one membrane is having here. So when the wave is transferring, the eardrum membrane is vibrating. So that means it is transferring the energy from one place to other place. Some vibrating particle, some membrane is vibrating. So the intensity having one more definition. The intensity of wave is the average power that travels through a given area as the wave travels through it. This is also one more definition. Now see, we are concentrating on light. Light is nothing but radiation. Radiation is the entire spectrum, that may be from gamma radiation to radio wave radiation, radio frequency. These are the complete wave radiation. So the radiation, the light we see in that radiation, whether the radiation or light is the wave nature, is it wave or particle is our question. Now to understand this one, we have to get some of the what is the properties which is giving by the light. See, light is producing interference pattern. In the interference pattern, superposition will takes place. In the interference pattern, at the time of superposition, we can easily understand two identical waves which can overlap to each other. They can produce that intensity pattern. That means here one thing, two identical waves which are having same amplitude, same frequency, same wavelength, then they will overlap to each other. Here is the complexity is nothing but two waves, they are overlapping at a one place which are having same properties. That means at one place two things are available. If you take the particle nature, at one place two identical properties of the two objects cannot be defined. That means with help of the object properties, that means particle nature, we cannot conclude, we cannot justify that interference pattern. So if we take, if the light is having the particle nature, we cannot give the correct conclusion for the interference pattern. That means in the interference pattern, wave is having, that light is having wave nature. So we are confirming that sometimes, that means some of the properties wave is behaving like a wave nature. I hope you understand. Now if we go to the another property, that is the photoelectric effect. In the photoelectric effect, so you already well known, I think. Once again we are recalling that photoelectric effect. What is meant by photoelectric effect? If suitable radiation is incidenting certain material, that is the metals, then due to the absorption of the radiation, the metal will produce that electrons. So it will eject the electrons. If the loop is completed, if the loop is connected with through the ammeter, the ammeter will show the electricity, that means current. That means what I am telling, that see, here is the energy is absorbing, that means radiation is absorbing through the by the metals. To explain this photoelectric effect, say Max Planck is used the energy the radiation is having like energy brackets. It is the photons, is given as the name of photon. A energy packets, to give the correct conclusion, Einstein is used that one, the radiation having the particle nature. That means in the previous one, light is having the wave nature. To explain the interference, it needed the wave nature property. To explain the photoelectric effect, it needs the particle nature property. That means we are getting the doubt, is it light radiation showing the both nature? That is the question get the scientist. So the answer is given by the de Broglie. Light is having both nature, that means dual nature. So light is having dual nature. Sometimes it will have the wave nature, sometimes it having the wave nature, sometimes it having the particle nature. One thing you have to concentrate here, at a time the light cannot have the both natures. It may be have the wave nature or it may be having the particle nature. This is the definition is given by the scientist de Broglie. What is the definition of the de Broglie? Light will have the dual nature, that is it will shows the particle nature as well as the wave nature. It is given by the scientist de Broglie. So with help of this de Broglie theory of the light is successfully explained up to properties of the light: reflection, refraction, diffraction, interference, but is a failure to explain polarization and photoelectric effect. So that means what is helping this one? Photoelectric effect, it needed some more thing. That means particle nature, how he cannot give the what is the particle nature, how the energy will transfer. So Einstein will give the photon name. After that Einstein came to the picture, the scientist is given clear explanation about the photon. So up to the de Broglie, he successfully explained interference pattern. He cannot explain polarization and photoelectric effect.